The next question, the member for Cambridge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning. My question is for the Premier. Last week, this government lost its challenge to the federal government's carbon pricing legislation at the Supreme Court of Canada. Funny enough, this government had already made a deal with the Justin Trudeau Liberal government to implement 2 carbon taxes in Ontario, one administered by the federal government for consumers and one administered by this provincial government on industry. Can the government tell us whether they feel they put forward the best legal arguments possible at the Supreme Court to fight the federal carbon tax, because the deal made with the federal Liberal government seems to suggest the Ontario government had already thrown in the towel?
To respond, Minister of the Environment, Conservation and Parks.
Thanks very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank the member opposite for that question. And I know she was with us when we passed our Made in Ontario Environment Plan that we have been implementing, and one of those key aspects of that plan was to bring forward our emissions performance standards, which we have worked with the federal government to institute. That is going to be a fair but tough regulation put in place to keep Ontario competitive. But at the same time, it's working to reduce those big polluting emitters down to greenhouse gas emissions so that we're able to work towards our goal of a 30% decrease in emissions below 2005 levels by our 2030 commitment. This is in addition to our plan to introduce a hydrogen strategy for this province. This is a plan moving forward that's going to allow us to open up a new economy that's going to be low-carbon emitting vehicles, low-carbon emitting buses and trains, Mr. Speaker. It's also going to allow us to store energy mixed with natural gas to decrease GHGs in our heating in our house. I look forward to implementing further this plan.
And the supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In legal challenges, judges only make decisions based on the evidence and the arguments provided by both sides. It seems to me this government spent over $20 million to fight this federal carbon tax legislation in court, only to concede to the federal government on the facts of the case, and to concede to the federal government the arguments in 2 of the 3 stages of the legal analysis. On the one hand, the Premier's rhetoric was to say the carbon tax is a cash grab that will do nothing for the environment. But in legal filings, this government agreed that the federal carbon tax is a way to help the environment. Can the government tell us how they expected to win in court when they conceded the facts and 2/3 of the legal arguments to the federal government on the federal carbon tax legislation?
Minister of the Environment.
Thank you very much for that supplemental, Mr. Speaker. We are disappointed with the Supreme Court's decision on the carbon tax issue, Mr. Speaker. We were elected with a mandate from the people of this province to do everything we could to make life more affordable for families and businesses throughout the province, Mr. Speaker, and we take the Supreme Court's decision and respect it, even though we do disagree with it, Mr. Speaker. We do know that climate change is an issue in this province. It's a threat to this province, it's a threat to our economy. It's a threat to the people throughout Ontario. And, Mr. Speaker, we are taking measures through our Made in Ontario Environment Plan to not only fight climate change and reduce our emissions, but also at the same time protect our land, air and water, because we believe that's what the people of this province want. We're going to continue to implement this plan. That is a flexible plan. It's not a one-size-fits-all for the entire province. People in Northern Ontario, Southern Ontario, and GTA and Toronto each need their own specific plans in order to fight climate change and protect the environment, and that's what we're supplying the people of this province.
Oh, excellent answer.
Thank you.